Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, November 30th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Before I do get started, I want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering later this week. So if you're liking what you see as I go through the video and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, then there's going to be an area right there on the webpage that you can click on. So like I said, keep that in the back of your mind, and if you're liking what you see, get signed up for the free class. First off, a couple of points of clarification. First off, I will be doing the 30-minute time frame, meaning if you're a beginner, each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. And then second, the market is still open for a little bit, so you're not crazy, but the final candlestick there, again, representing the last 30 minutes of the day, that will still be moving, but the market's close enough to closing where what I talk about is still going to be relevant moving forward. But sometimes it's fun to, capture some very interesting price movement here. But overall, first one here, ticker symbol PTPI, did this one last week, and what a great continuation move here. Actually had this trend line in place, and you can see that it broke that trend line late day, and then, the rest was history. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that as it served its purpose for now. Talk about some of the newest areas to watch. So the first key level to watch from more of a pullback standpoint and an area of support right down here around $3.50. You can see that opening 30 minutes, very strong candle. Then the price did spend a little bit of time going sideways consolidating, but notice it happened right there above that 350 mark. So that's, it doesn't guarantee anything, but is at least a plausible, logical area to think that the price could bounce from if the price goes back to that area. Absolutely. So keep an eye on 350 from the support side of things. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, so if you like to play breakouts, then the main level here that stands out, and I think a lot of people will be watching it right up there at $4.75. So again, nothing is guaranteed, but is it a valid thought process that if the price can work its way back up to $4.75 and get the breakup through there, that could be, self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, but with enough people watching that area, could that generate some, momentum? Absolutely, that's a plausible thought process. So keep an eye on that if you consider yourself more of a breakout player, but either way, definitely should be on the watch list. Next one, NRXP, again, did this one last week, and big move up, and is this a good, this is a bad looking chart? This is a little bit more tricky to talk about from a presentation standpoint, because it just depends. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, or maybe you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within, 7 minutes, well then yeah, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad, because there was this big pullback. Now, from the bigger picture point of view, everything is still perfectly fine. What do I mean by that? And I'm not saying that this will occur, but for explanation's sake, let me just get rid of that line and make the first update here. This update is just based on a rule that states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So 725, now one of the newest areas of support. Again, not saying this will occur, but to illustrate from more of a bigger picture, let's say the price comes down here and then stabilizes out. What would you have, from a big picture point of view? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there. You'd have these lows down there. You'd have lows right there. If you envision each one of these as stair steps, what do you have? Again, emphasis on big picture, but from the big picture point of view, you'd still very clearly have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction, and that's what you want to see from a grand scheme of things. As long as the price is trending upwards, aka building higher bases, that is what matters most. So is this a bad looking chart, good looking chart? Well, I don't know. That was, that's up to your game plan going in, but from a bigger picture trend building perspective, even with the bigger pullback today, the trend still has plenty of opportunity to build upon itself. Next one here, ticker symbol PTN, did this analysis last week, and that's where that red line is coming from. So for those of you that watched that video, and especially if you're a breakout player and you bought the breakout of that red line, which I talked about, congratulations, because just an absolutely monster move from that point forward. So great breakout today, and of course, updates certainly need to be made. So one of the newest levels here, going to be the new kind of pullback support area, right down there around 75 cents, as I talked about on the earlier one, PTPI. But here on PTN, you can see price came down there, consolidated around that area several times before starting to return back upwards. So definitely going to be a nice logical area to think about. And then I'm not using a guaranteed because those don't exist in the market, but certainly a plausible area to think that if the price pulls back there, it could once again find some buyers. As far as breakout areas and resistances are concerned, pretty straightforward right now. The key level right up around that 96 cent mark. You can see, generally speaking, several times today, the price got right up around that area and couldn't quite push through it. So is it plausible to think that if the price gets up to 96 and pushes through it, that could create a whole bunch of additional buying pressure, even if it's created by simply a self-fulfilling prophecy? That is absolutely a valid thought process to have. So definitely keep a close eye on 96 cents from the breakout point of view. But overall, huge volume today, very nice price movement. Let's see if the momentum can continue. Next one here, LCID, and very, very impressive move today. And going to go ahead, get rid of that line here and this line down there. Yes, those levels still pertain. They're just not really relevant right now. And from a presentation standpoint, I don't want to risk causing, confusion and clutter because there's lines everywhere you look. But the one update that does need to be made is not really an update, just an extension. But going to drag this level here because 57.50-ish, give or take, has now become, well within striking distance, which in the past, as you can see here, a couple of times has presented problems. Does not mean that it will for sure guaranteed present a problem again, but all I'm saying is if the price gets up to that area, it's very valid to throw out the big old question mark of, okay, it's looking good, but I don't know. Let's be a little cautious here because this level does have a history of, rejecting the price back down. So definitely keep an eye on that, which is, one of these situations where it would be nice to say things are guaranteed. But it's good to know that it's not guaranteed that just because the price gets up there, it's going to get rejected. My point here is it certainly has become a very valid area to, be a little cautious and just keep an eye on that level and not think that if it just gets up that area, it's going to keep on moving and moving guaranteed because, the history is showing us that's not the case. As far as areas of support are concerned, moving forward, keep an eye on that purple line there, 50-period moving average. As the name implies, that line is going to keep on moving itself higher and higher. So from a very straightforward point of view, in terms of, the current general movement, as long as the price remains above that purple line, the bulls 100% remain in full control of it. But yeah, overall, very nice way to start off the new week. Next one here, AMC, and I suppose depending on where you reside, it's not unfortunate if you're a short, but unfortunately for the bulls, got the nice trend line that I talked about last week, but overall just turned out to be essentially a bear pennant, bear flag pattern, which then got downside continuation right there. So not some sort of mind-boggling, oh, wow, nobody saw that coming. I mean, that's just a basic technical pattern there. So that's going to be one of those areas where, I don't think it, like I said, caught anybody off guard, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that as it served its purpose. But to look at the glass as being half full, the price did behave very nicely down around that $36.10 mark by holding that support. If you go back to Friday, that's right where it found support. You fast forward here, despite the big bleeding that occurred, well, once again, the power of charts found some support right there. So now it becomes more and more valid to at least question, all right, maybe this is some sort of bottom that's forming. Yeah, today, not good for the price to gap up and then come all the way back down. But at least the price didn't come down to that green line and then just continue on down. I mean, that would have been way worse. Now, again, just because the price has gone sideways does not for sure guarantee this is the bottom. But is it valid to think that this could potentially be the bottom? Absolutely. And that's also why this $36 mark is so important, because if the price just blows down through there, well, then at that point, it no longer makes sense to say, oh, this could still be the bottom when the price all of a sudden gone lower. But as long as the price can chip away and stay above 36, to think that this is the bottom and that a bounce could be, around the corner, that makes valid sense. Next one here, BFRI did this one last week and really want to just focus on a couple different areas. And this goes back to the whole idea of, I don't know, is this bad or good? Well, I don't know. What was your perspective going in? Day traders, breakout players that, were buying here and then averaging up and buying there. This is not a good looking chart. They just got absolutely destroyed. Now, if you care about the big picture point of view, even with the pullback here, specifically staying above that green line that I talked about previously, which it did do, I mean, great bounce from it right there, everything is still perfectly fine. As I mentioned in an earlier ticker symbol, not saying this will occur, but even if the price comes down here and stays above that level, what do you have? Emphasis on big picture. Well, from the big picture, you'd still have a set of lows there, lows there, lows there. You envision those as stair steps, and you get the idea. The stair steps would still be trending in the upwards perspective. Again, I fully understand. If you're a day trader and you bought right there, you don't care about these stair steps. So I'm trying to be very careful in differentiating, talking about someone from a bigger picture viewpoint than somebody with more of a day trading viewpoint. So, keep an eye on these levels. That level of resistance at 950 remains the key level. Yeah, it was great that the price broke above it, but that didn't last very long, and then the nasty move back below it. But on the flip side, at least the price did stay above 650, so that also remains a main level and key level of support moving forward. Next one here, TWTR Twitter. All sorts of drama today with the headlines. It was actually halted during the day for the pending news, and a nasty, nasty chart with the big gap up here, and then just, in trading lingo, what would be called a gap and trap. Gapped up and then has essentially just fallen all the way back down. So this is a very ugly chart, but for you longer time viewers, that I like to find opportunities in ugly, and that can present itself. So just to give more context here, you can see that it has been a very, very long time since the price has been down around this area. But what makes this interesting is that the price is still hanging around, again, generally speaking, this area where it's found support before. Now, technically speaking, yes, it is slightly down below this area, but we got to remember supports resistance areas are not exact specific locations. There is a range element associated with them, and here it's still within the range. And given past history has shown us that before this area has produced some bounces. Once again, does that mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to bounce? Absolutely not. Is it at least valid to think that it could bounce? I mean, it's done it twice before. Yeah, that's completely valid. So this is one of those, and this also assumes that you do have risk management and, systems and protocols in place that you can honor stop losses, all that good stuff. But if you can, then from a risk versus reward standpoint, I mean, you're looking at a very minimal risk compared to a whole lot of upside if you can get the bounce, which again, it's done before. So it's not like it's irrational to think that it could bounce from this area. Now, if it's never bounced before, then yeah, you'd be justified to question me, Clay, what are you talking about? It's never bounced from that area before, but it actually has twice. So we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. But yeah, Twitter has definitely presented an ugly chart, but there can be opportunity within the ugly. Next one, ISPC, which was just a crazy day when you actually stop and think about what happened, meaning started off with a gap down, price actually dropped a little bit further, got there, and then just like that, kaboom, up the price went. So very, very crazy early part of the day, which has now formed a very nice technical pattern here. And this is not a technical pattern that, takes a whole bunch of skills. So I'm not trying to imply like this is a great discovery or I have some sort of special talent. I assure you people around the world that use charts, understand charts, have taken notice of this pattern. Most specifically, part of the pattern, that trend line right there. And I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this because I've already harped on the concept already. But call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It's more than valid to think that given a bunch of people are watching this pattern, specifically that trend line, that if the price can return back up there and get the break through that level, that would in trading jargon be a technical pattern breakout, which could be causing people just to buy because, hey, I'm a breakout player. Hey, it's breaking that pattern. Hey, it's time to buy. So definitely keep a close eye on that area. Give or take right around the $24, $25 mark will be that key breakout area. If you do like to play pullbacks, but now the level that stands out quite a bit is all about the purple line, which I've talked about already, that 50 period moving. I mean, check it out. Bounced off it once again this morning, bounced off it. And like I said, with Twitter, does that mean that for sure guaranteed it's going to bounce from it again? No, but is it valid to think that it could find some support and bounce from that purple line? Well, according to this chart and its track record, yeah, that seems like a plausible thought. So overall, keep your eye on those two main levels. Next one, QLGN. And talk about catching me off guard. Last time I was looking at this, it was a beautiful breakout. Things are looking great. And then the last 30 minutes, wow, just a complete collapse. And the first time I was, wow, this thing looks terrible now. But there can be opportunity in ugly, and we actually have a couple opportunities where the price could, very logically bounce from. The first one right down here at the bottom part of this range, which again has bounced from several times before at $1.55. There is a bounce. There is a bounce. There is a bounce. There is a bounce, and you can see right there the price actually little miniature, about 2 or 3 cent bounce off that level. So could it all of a sudden go sideways and get some movement back upwards? Yeah, that seems like a valid thought. If you want to be a little bit more conservative with and want to see the price get a little bit more ugly, then you also have the 200 period moving average down there at $1.30. So that could be another interesting level. Or if you're just like, no, Clay, this thing got way too ugly, way too fast. I completely understand that perspective. So I guess that's just kind of how the market goes sometimes. You can see a chart, be, kind of broadly thinking about, okay, what you're going to talk about, and then you pull it up and looks totally different, but hey, who knows? Maybe there will be some opportunity in this ugly. Next one, ATXI. Not a whole lot of people out there talking about this one. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, it had a great day, had a great pattern, and then had a very nice final part of the day where the price got, the breakout of this $1.60 mark. So from that point of view, that is the context. There is the technical breakout already underway. So if you like to play breakouts, then I'm not saying that there's not going to be any more opportunities, but, I'd be very careful just to go and buy it right there. You got to be careful. You don't want to be suffering from FOMO, fear of missing out and chasing the price or anything. But, as a breakout player, maybe let it consolidate out and then make another move. Okay, that's where, other trade plans could potentially start to form. You just got to see how things play out on Tuesday. But the main dynamic here and the main reason why, it's on the watch list is the fact that had great volume, had the great pattern, got the breakout from it, and then even got the late day breakout from that pattern right there. So is this the start of a much bigger trend? Who knows? It might not be, but is it valid to be thinking that way? Absolutely. So if you like to play this price range and looking for something that is, starting to form some good patterns, show the ability to actually break out and continue to break out, then I'd say get this one on the watch list. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you can start to see the potential and power in learning about the tool of technical analysis, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Like I said, it'll be later this week on Thursday, December 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern. So certainly get signed up for it and you'll learn all about charts and how they should be, how they can be used to build consistency as a trader. And then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then please help me out with some easy feedback. Hit the like button, leave a basic comment, say hi, Give me a smiley face emoji. Tell me a ticker symbol that you traded today or that you're watching for tomorrow. But hitting the like button, leaving a simple comment go a long way in communicating to me that you enjoy these videos. And as long as I know people are enjoying, then I will continue to put in the time and effort to make them. And again, if you want to learn more about the tool of tactical analysis and how it can be used to build consistency, definitely get signed up for the free class. Everybody take care. Have a good one.